In this video, I'm going to talk to you about why you need to become a problem-first company and not a product-first company. This is how Netflix beat Blockbuster and how you can ensure that you don't become a has-been with your product or your company.
You're not even a has-been. You're a never was.
How many times have you watched Shark Tank and cringed whenever you saw someone come on who had poured all of their entire life savings into a product, remortgaged their house?
But this is my dream. I want this to be stable.
And their product is a product. It doesn't actually solve any problems, and of course, they don't get investment.
You're a product, not a company.
See, here's the thing. As a creator, it's so easy to get attached to your ideas. Especially if your mom tells you how great it is, don't trust your family with their opinions on this. The more love, energy, and attention you invest into a product, the harder it becomes to accept when it won't work in the way that you imagine it will. The good news is there is a simple mindset shift that you can adopt to prevent your product ideas from ending up in someone's garage or your own garage because they never sell. Best of all, this mindset shift is a lot easier to navigate than you might think. It all starts with this question. Are you creating a product or are you solving a problem? One of the biggest breakthroughs that we've had at Best Self came when we made the shift in thinking of ourselves as a product company to thinking of ourselves as a problem company. So consider this. Your customers, they don't want another meaningless item in their home or their life that just adds to the clutter. They are looking to solve the problems in their lives with your product. And that can be everything from like a minor headache that they have every day to a full-blown I can't sleep at night breakdown. Your products could solve this problem for them. If you, as an entrepreneur, see yourself as a problem solver instead of a product creator, everything changes for your product development. Not only will your products do a better job for your customers, they're much easier to sell. And you'll also be able to tap into new ideas to further drive the business. The product versus problem focus is how we at Best Self launched our line of discovery decks, which over the past 2 years have been responsible for millions of dollars in revenue. And that's not where our business started at all. I didn't go out intending to create these decks because I wanted that to be a new product. Instead, I started with trying to solve a problem. One of the most common pieces of feedback that we received from people that use our journals was that they didn't really know what to write about. They would kind of get stuck staring at this blank page. So the problem that I wanted to solve was how to remove resistance from journaling. And my initial thought was, oh, maybe we create a guided journal. And this made logical sense because we already know how to make notebooks. This would not be that much more difficult. But I also felt that this was kind of restrictive. I didn't want people's journaling influenced by the amount of space available to write, or what if they didn't feel connected to the prompt on that page that day? I don't want them to have to leave big gaps in their journals until they happen to find a prompt that they can connect to. It's why we settled on a card deck and the Wordsmith deck was born. Then we created a deck to come up with creative ideas called the Edison deck, and then soon we had the Intimacy deck, which blew everything else out of the water. See, if you see yourself as a problem-first company, your opportunities for products expand significantly, and it makes it much easier. And it's not just easier, it will help you innovate. See, if Best Self had chosen to define itself as a journal company, the range of products that we created would have been limited to notebooks and stationery. But because we adopted this problem-first approach, we were able to break out of these constraints of being a journal company and instead solve problems that our customer has. Tony Robbins has this idea of fall in love with the customer, don't fall in love with your product. So what are some other companies that should have taken a problem-first approach? So in case you didn't know, Blockbuster is now out of business. In 2000, Reed Hastings, founder of Netflix, flew to Dallas to propose a partnership with Blockbuster. And the idea was Netflix would run Blockbuster's brand online and Blockbuster would promote Netflix in its stores. And when he came up with this idea, he was basically laughed out of the room. And guess what happened next? Well, a few years later, Blockbuster went bankrupt. And while Netflix is Netflix, an insanely successful company with, I think, over 75 million subscribers paying every month. And Blockbuster could have bought them in 2000 for only $50 million, and unfortunately, they did not. And they went out of business because they were a product-first company and not a problem-first company. And by the time they realized that people wanted to be able to find stuff online, it was already too late and Netflix had market share. When you're a product-first company and you fall in love with your product, that's when you think, oh yeah, people want to go to the store, they want to choose from my selection, they'll pay late fees because there's no other option. Netflix realized that people wanted the convenience of being in their house, being able to rent whatever they wanted, as many times as they want, for a fixed subscription fee. So Blockbuster's lack of ability to innovate led to their downfall, and by the time they realized how behind they were, it was too late to catch up. Now hit the like button if you are glad Netflix made it, but also you still have great memories of going to Blockbuster when you were a kid. Another key example of doing this wrong is Kodak. So at one time, Kodak was the biggest film company in the world. And in 1975, one of their employees, Steven Sasson, invented the digital camera. They had a patent on it, and he wanted to push it forward and move into digital. However, rather than revolutionize the industry, Kodak decided not to really focus on it because it was kind of cannibalize their film and photography paper sales. See, they didn't really understand, like, why wouldn't someone want to physically have their pictures? Nobody's gonna wanna look at their photos on a screen. Meanwhile, now you have Instagram, and Kodak essentially put themselves out of business because when new developments are happening in your industry, you need to adjust, you need to adapt, and you need to look at the current need, because if you're not solving it, you're going to go out of business. Kodak failed to do this, and where they truly failed was in realizing that online photo sharing was the new business and not just a way to expand printing. They really failed in innovation, creativity, and strategic problem solving, and again, like Blockbuster, they ended up filing for bankruptcy in 2012. So I tell you all this so that you understand what being a product-first company is and what being a problem-first company is. What do you have to do to make sure that you're adapting, you're innovating, and you're not gonna put yourself out of business? You need to stay on top of trends, be eager to identify and understand what the problems of your customers are so that you can create meaningful products. Remember, problem first, not product. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like and subscribe so that you can follow along with other videos in this product series. And I'd love to hear in the comments about a problem that could be turned into a product, or if you have an example of a company that has done this really well. Check out my video on how to create a product story so that you can turn that idea into something that your customers actually want.